Last night, my husband and I went out for the first time in a long while. We were having a great time together, and I ended up getting very drunk. Everything seemed fine until I mentioned wanting to go to the bar to get more shots and started talking with a group of guys. That's when things took a turn. My husband suddenly got upset, stormed out of the bar, and waited outside for an Uber. Once we got home, the situation escalated. We had a huge argument. He called me a whore and accused me of cheating on him, even going so far as to say that our 2 children, who look exactly like him, might not be his. I was shocked and heartbroken by his words. At one point, I tried to walk past him to check on the kids, who had woken up because of his yelling. He pushed me hard toward the couch, making me sit down. He stood over me, screaming in my face. When I got up again, he pushed me onto the floor, where he continued yelling at me while I was down. Eventually, he kicked me out of the house. My mother came to pick me up, and his mother arrived to help with the children. This morning, he told me he's embarrassed that his mother now knows about our issues and reiterated that he believes I'm cheating on him. He also said he plans to get a paternity test for our 2 kids. He has not apologized for calling me a whore or for physically pushing me. I told him I have no problem with him taking a paternity test if it'll ease his mind. But at this point, I feel utterly heartbroken. I've told him that once the results come back proving the children are his, I'll serve him with divorce papers. I can't move past how he treated me, or the fact that he even suggested our children might not be his. What would you do in my situation? Would you try to work it out? My husband is going out for drinks with a coworker, and I'm feeling terrified. We've been together for 9 years, married for 5. The other day, he was showing me a video on his phone when a text came through from a woman whose name I didn't recognize. I asked who she was, and he explained that she's a colleague from a company his workplace collaborates with. He has text previews turned off, so I couldn't see what the message said. But it still raised my suspicions. I know it wasn't right, but later that evening while he was in the shower, I looked through his phone to figure out who she is and why they're texting. I found out they've been meeting occasionally for coffee or lunch during the workday. At first, these meetups were infrequent, maybe once a month, and focused on work. However, things changed last week when she joined a board that he's also a part of. After a board meeting last week, it seems like the group went out for drinks together until around 11 p.m. I knew he was out with colleagues and didn't think much of it at the time. What concerns me is that he texted her afterward to check if she got home safely and said he'd had a great time but wished they'd had more opportunities to talk one-on-one. The next morning he texted her, "Good morning," and asked her to grab drinks with him alone this week. She agreed, and he replied that he couldn't wait. Naturally, I looked her up. She's a beautiful woman, probably in her mid-20s. I asked him again later about her and their connection. He repeated that she's a colleague helping him get connected with exciting opportunities in her organization. My husband has always been focused on networking and enjoys being involved in community work, professional groups, and boards. From what I can tell, she has strong professional connections, and it looks like she's introduced him to some influential people. I don't want to jump to conclusions or accuse him of anything inappropriate. Insecurity has been a significant issue in our relationship in the past, and we've worked hard to overcome it. But I can't shake the fear that he might be crossing a line, or that this could lead to something more. Would this raise alarm bells for you? How would you approach the situation without accusations or damaging the trust in the marriage? When I, F35, argue with my husband, M36, his anger scares me. When my husband and I argue, I tend to raise my voice, which I know triggers him. In response, he often smashes things around him. He punches walls, throws his phone, or hurls other items like chairs or the coffee table. Every time this happens, I immediately stop arguing because his anger frightens me. He has never hit me, but he has gently pushed me during arguments. He says that my shouting is what causes him to get so angry and that if I didn't shout, he wouldn't react this way. I know I need to work on my tone, but I can't accept his behavior. I'm scared to argue with him because it always escalates in the same way. He also crosses boundaries by calling me names like "bi-ow" or telling me to "faw off." These moments feel so opposite to the loving and caring husband he is most of the time. I'm beginning to consider ending our marriage. We don't have children yet, but I worry about how he might behave if we did. Would he act this way around them? Am I exaggerating for thinking about leaving? How would you handle a situation like this? My husband, 32, M, cheated on me, 28, female, with another man and might have given me an STD. As the title says, my husband of 9 years cheated on me with another man. I'm shattered. We've been together for 12 years and married for 9. We have a 15-month-old daughter, born in October 2023. I've known for about 5 years that my husband is bisexual, which was never an issue for me. We've even explored aspects of his sexuality together, like pegging. Lately, I noticed subtle but strange changes in his behavior. He started shaving his entire body regularly using excessive lotion and saying he wanted his butt crack to smell good at all times. It struck me as odd, but I brushed it off as a change in grooming habits. Then, a few weeks ago, he left for several days after a minor argument, nothing serious or violent, without answering my calls or even speaking to our daughter. He later admitted to creating a Grindr account, claiming he did it during a low and lonely moment. At the time, I dismissed it, thinking it was from years ago. However, his erratic behavior continued. He seemed emotionally unstable, crying a lot and acting depressed. I thought it was related to his childhood trauma, so I supported him as best I could, comforting him, reassuring him, and giving him space to open up when he was ready. Finally, he admitted the truth. He cheated on me with a man during the latter half of 2024. He refused to give me many details, only saying it happened once, which I don't believe, and with a stranger. When I told him to leave, he tried to blame me for his actions. As I was packing to leave with our daughter, he dropped another bombshell. He had contracted a curable STD. He initially lied about his symptoms, claiming he had a UTI. I was concerned and even helped him book a doctor's appointment. It turns out he had already seen a doctor for his STD and was undergoing additional testing for syphilis. I'm furious. Not only did he betray me by cheating, but he didn't even use protection, putting my health at risk. What if it wasn't just syphilis? What if he exposed me to something incurable, like HIV or herpes? The premeditation of it all, downloading an app, creating a profile, arranging to meet someone and following through, makes it even worse. I don't believe this was a one-time thing. Contracting an STD on the first encounter seems unlikely, and his secrecy suggests this went on for weeks or months. I'm devastated. I've been a stay-at-home mom since May 2024, at his request, so I have no income of my own. I refuse to send my daughter to daycare because of the mistreatment I've seen in those environments during my time working there. Now I feel trapped and unsure of what to do next. I keep having panic attacks, and my mind won't stop spiraling. I just want the life I thought I had back. Thank you for listening. My boyfriend M24 and I, F24, have been dating for over 2 years, but I'm feeling insecure about his interactions with a female friend. Is this normal? My boyfriend and I have been together for over 2 years, and we live together. Our relationship is serious, and for the most part, things have been great. About a year ago, I checked my boyfriend's phone and noticed he had deleted a lot of messages with his female friends. I confronted him about it, and he apologized. He explained that he'd gotten into the habit of deleting texts because his ex-girlfriends didn't approve of his friendships with other women. I believed him, and we moved on. A little while after that, I checked his phone again and saw that he had deleted messages from one particular female friend. I decided not to bring it up, thinking it might just be his habit and that it wasn't worth an argument. Fast forward to now, and I checked his phone again. The same female friend had sent him outfit pictures. He responded with compliments like calling her pretty and using hot face emojis on her pictures. In their Instagram chat, he asked her to check their WhatsApp messages. When I checked his WhatsApp, the chat with her was deleted. I feel really uneasy because now I don't know what they're talking about or what's going on. I'll admit that I've recently gained weight, and I've been feeling insecure about my appearance. Seeing this interaction between him and his friend has made me feel even worse. But I'm struggling to figure out if my feelings are just my insecurities or if there's something genuinely concerning here. Do you think this is normal? Should I be worried about his behavior?